Hello, bonjour. I wanted to give you guys a quick intro, more than an intro, because we actually have kind of already looked at this earlier before spring break, but just kind of a review of le futur proche, because a lot of people expressed that they were confused or they may have had some mistakes on the section of the weekly prep that was, I think, for right before spring break. So let's take a look at le futur proche. What this means is just the near future. And the reason we call it the near future is because there's an actual future tense in French that we will not get to this semester, but this one is actually used more often than the technical future. So let's just look first of all at how we form le futur proche. If it will let me click to the next slide. Aha. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire ce week-end? Indiquez ce que tu vas faire ce week-end. Okay, so just some multiple choice here. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? This is an expression that you need to know. What are you going to do? Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? Je vais faire du ski. Je vais sortir avec mes amis. Je vais rester chez moi. Je vais étudier le français. Je vais dîner au restaurant. Okay? So think about which ones are true for you, if any. All right. So for myself, I would say probably je vais rester chez moi. Possibly on a typical weekend, je vais dîner au restaurant. All right. If we wanted to make something negative, so what are you not going to do? Remember that we need two little particles, two little elements to make a sentence negative. We need ne, N-E. So for the first option, obviously this weekend, je ne vais. Now we need another little element, the word pas, P-A-S. And the way that we set this up is we put vais, or whatever your verb happens to be, we put it in between those two words. So je ne vais pas faire du ski. I'm not going to go out with friends, so I would say je ne vais pas sortir avec mes amis. And if I'm not going to study French, I would say je ne vais pas étudier le français. All right, so look at all these forms. We have je vais to tell what I'm going to do, and then we have a verb. So that is your basic formation of futur proche. You take your verb aller, conjugated for whatever person you're talking about. Okay, so je vais, tu vas, il, elle, on va, nous allons, vous allez, ils, elles vont. All right, this verb you need to commit to memory because it's so common that it's going to come up all the time. This is definitely going to be a topic that's on quizzes and exams because just think about how useful and how often we use the verb to go. It's something you just need to know. All right, so work on memorizing that verb. And then we just add any infinitive. Remember, the infinitive is the form of the verb before anything has been done to it. So it still ends with that R, and the N sound is going to be A if it's an ER verb, like danser, manger. It could be a verb, an RE verb like faire, so faire la vaisselle, to do the dishes, or faire une promenade, to take a walk. Or if it's an IR verb, it'll obviously end in ir, so sortir, they're going to go out, ils vont sortir. So really the only conjugations you need to memorize to do the future are the conjugations of the verb aller, because your second verb will always remain in the infinitive form. So let's practice with a few of these. Qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire? This exercise is very similar to what I had put on one of your weekly preps. All right, so we have a person or people and a place. All right, and what you need to do is give an activity using futur proche, which we just did. What will this person be doing? What will they do? What are they going to do? So Monique, au stade. All right, stade, qu'est-ce que c'est? Stade, ça veut dire stadium. Okay. So for the sake of simplicity, let's say she's going to watch a soccer game. All right, you guys remember to watch is regarder. And we want to say a soccer game. Well, in many parts of the world, we would call this football, right? A football match. So that is un match de foot. So Monique, we have to go back and pick our form of aller that would match with Monique. So Monique, she's obviously singular, so she's going to fit on the left side of this graph. And Monique is elle, right? So Monique va, and our verb we said was regarder un match de foot. Or elle va regarder un match de foot. Just a note for you Spanish speakers in this class. Notice in French, we can't start the sentence with just va. All right, in Spanish, we could. We don't need the subject. In French, we need a subject. So we need elle va or Monique va regarder un match de foot. Second one, mon ami et moi à la bibliothèque. So the easy part of a lot of these is coming up with the verb. If that's not easy for you, you need to work on your vocabulary. So think about something easy you could use for bibliothèque, which is a library. Étudier. So mon ami et moi, this is only a little bit tricky because we have to think about what subject pronoun goes with mon ami et moi. If you said nous, you're correct. Okay, so nous, us, or we are going to, let's use étudier. We're going to study. The problem with this is we can't just say mon ami et moi and a verb. We can say mon ami et moi, comma, nous, and then put our verb, or we could just simply say nous. So what is our new form for aller? Nous allons. So mon ami et moi, comma, nous allons étudier à la bibliothèque. So how would that translate to English? If I had left the mon ami et moi at the beginning, it would be like saying, my friend and I, comma, we're going to study in the library. All right? We can do that in English. It doesn't sound too funny. In French, the point I'm making is that if you use the verb allons, you're going to need the word nous in front of it. All right? Not the word mon ami et moi. Or not the phrase mon ami et moi. Next one, les jeunes, which are the young people. So, les jeunes en boîte. If you guys remember, what does it mean if I say aller en boîte? This is to go out to a club or to go clubbing. So, les jeunes en boîte. Let's use the verb to dance. So, what are they going to do? Les jeunes. All right, and if you have your forms of aller memorized, awesome. If not, just keep writing them down, keep referencing them until they are committed to memory. So we will look back. Les jeunes, which category would this fit in? It's plural, so it's going to be your, and it's not we, it's not you, it's going to be ils. So our form is vont. So we can say, les jeunes vont, our verb to dance, danser, en boîte, or ils vont danser. Next one, we have ma famille and à l'église, which is the church. All right? So don't think too hard about this. Think about verbs that we know. Okay? We know the verb to sing. That would make sense. So let's use that one. So, ma famille, think about what form you want for ma famille. We don't want the je form, because I'm not saying I sing or I am going to sing. I'm saying that ma famille, which is a singular noun, right, is going to sing. All right? So just looking at the word famille, which category would it fall under? Je, no. Tu, no. Technically, it's going to fall under this third one, elle va. Because it's a singular subject. So my family is going to sing at the church. If you said nous allons, I can see why you would say that. Technically, though, the word famille is singular, so we're just going to say ma famille va chanter. Or ma famille va chanter à l'église. Notice, too, something I hadn't pointed out, but should be obvious by now, is that va, or whatever your form is of aller, and your verb always go together. We're not putting anything in between them unless we're making it a negative, like ma famille ne va pas chanter. Other than that, we're always going to keep va and chanter, vont danser, allons étudier, va regarder together. Okay, so I'm never going to put something in between, like un match de foot. Okay, that's going to go at the end. And lastly, tu à la maison. So at your house or at home, which we could also say chez toi, let's use the verb to stay. So you are going to stay in your house. You're going to stay home. A good way to remember the verb to stay is that if you're staying at home, you're resting. So think about the verb rester. So what is our tu form of aller? You're going. Tu vas. Pronounced exactly like elle va, but we just have an S on the end. So tu vas rester à la maison. Okay, so you should be able to do these sorts of activities when they come up again. All right, so make sure you commit aller to memory. Where's all this stuff coming from? The most important thing you can be doing right now, especially while everything is online, is being diligent about going to the Français Interactif website. And I will try to remember to point out to you if there's particular parts of the website that I want you to focus on or not focus on. But like for chapter 3, for instance, we did pretty much all of this. We didn't actually look at 3 and 4 in class, all right? So that's a responsibility that you guys have. Anything that has something about verbs is going to be important. So your responsibility throughout the week is to go through these lessons, read through them. If you have a question about something and you just don't understand it, let me know or get in touch with one of the resources I've given you. But typically, it's pretty straightforward. You might not know all of it, but it's at least clear what they want. It's just giving you the forms for these particular verbs. So the place that we got all this information was in 3.6, futur proche. So everything I just showed you, this is all written down here. So what I would recommend for you to do each time you go through these lessons is just to go down to the exercises and try it. Try to fill in the blanks and then see what it gives you. All right, it should give you some feedback if you get them wrong. So let's just do like number 1. I only have like a couple minutes I can record on this app that I'm using. But numéro 1, we have Corey saying, je ne sors pas ce soir. I'm not going out this evening. Je blank à la maison. So what we want to do, if we look at the directions, we're not just conjugating rester, which would be reste, je reste à la maison. We're saying I'm going to stay à la maison. So for that, you need to know your je form of aller, je vais rester à la maison. All right, and you would just do the same thing for each of the following questions and see how you do. All right, so things to be looking at once you feel comfortable with chapter 3. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to point out too, listen to the interviews and read the transcripts, because a lot of times these are going to contain the same structures that we're looking at in the grammar. So I have a good feeling that le week-end prochain and les vacances, both of these interviews are going to include some future forms, because to talk about next weekend or to talk about your vacations, you're going to have to use future forms. So listen to those, practice with those. So the next thing to be responsible for, once you feel pretty comfortable with chapter 3, we're now starting chapter 4. Okay, so in addition to vocabulary, which you should, always be studying, and I recommend flashcards, Quizlet, whatever you want to use. The main subject here that's going to require any real work on your part is going to be 4-5, okay, pronominal verbs, and I may put up something later, some instruction or a video or something to do with that, okay? So focus on that when you get to chapter 4. My recording is about to run out, but hopefully that was a little bit helpful for you using the futur proche. Au revoir.